In this video, I'm going to talk about how to convert a radical expression to an expression with an exponent. Now, in order to make the conversion, you want to pay attention to two pieces. So let's look at our rule here. And the first piece that I'm going to make sure that I look for is the index. That's going to play a big part. If we look at our conversion with the exponent, notice it's actually a fraction, or what we call a rational exponent. Notice the denominator will use the index. So the I stands for index, and that ends up in our denominator. The other part is the E for exponent. So on our variable, and in this case it's an x, the exponent, when we complete our conversion, will be the numerator. So you will keep the base, whether it's a base variable, like in this example the x, or if it's a base number when you're converting, you will keep that the same. And what you want to look for is, again, creating that fraction where you have the exponent on top over the index. So if we take a look at some of the examples below, notice in my first example I have a square root of 16. So the base number, the 16, has stayed the same, and I'm going to highlight that index of 2 because it's a square root. Notice that has become the denominator of my fraction, and the exponent, and in this case if you don't see an exponent, it's assumed that it's a 1, so that will become my numerator. So I have 16 to the 1/2. So the example right below is the square root of 25. So square root is an index of 2. And again, it's just 25 to the first. So when I want to rewrite that, I'm going to use 25 as my base, and then my exponent. Remember, we're going to use the 1 for the numerator over the index of 2. So you have 25 to the 1/2. Similarly, on the third example, the square root of 100, if I'm going to convert that, remember square root's index of 2, and this is just 100 to the first, so I could rewrite that as 100 to the 1/2. Again, creating that exponent with the exponent of the 100, that's the 1 on the top, and the index of 2 on the bottom. And if you're picking up on the fact that these square roots here, notice we are creating an exponent of 1/2, even on our last example, this is going to be x to the 1/2. That is a pattern that was done on purpose. So hopefully you can kind of catch on. We started with the 16 to the 1/2, and then progressed 25 to the 1/2, 100 to the 1/2, and x to the 1/2. If we want to jump over to the second column, we've got some new examples. Notice this time we have a cube root here. So when they rewrote their expression, the base 8 stayed the same, but notice on the denominator here we have a 3. So this is 8 to the 1/3. And for each of these, it's a cube root, so we will end up having each base number, so this time 125, will be raised to the 1/3, or this one is 1000 raised to the 1/3, and finally x raised to the 1/3. Okay, so we have a couple more challenging examples below, and we're going to start off by rewriting the radical into that exponent notation. Okay, so I'm going to look at example A, where it's the cube root of 7. So I'm going to start with our base of 7, and I'm recognizing it's just 7 to the first. So I'm going to start my exponent with a 1 over, now I'm going to use the index, it's a cube root, so I'm going to say 1/3. Okay. Example B, notice my base number is 11, so I'm going to start my answer off with an 11, and then I'm going to go to the exponent, and I'm going to use, notice the 5 up here as my exponent. That's going to be my numerator, and remember square root has an index of 2, even if it's not written there, so I'm going to use the 2 as my denominator. So that's 11 to the 5 halves. And our last example here for C, that is going to be a base of x, and the exponent on x is 8, so I'm going to start my exponent off with 8, and the index is 4. Now as you're writing that and you're thinking 8 over 4, I can reduce that, you're absolutely right. So we are going to reduce that for a final answer of x squared. So 8 over 4 reduces to 2. Okay, so the next step would be, can we convert, I'm going to scroll up here, can we go the other way? Can we go backwards? What if they gave us a base number with the exponent? Can we write it in the radical notation? Okay, so I'm noticing in example A that the base number is 43. So I'm going to start with 43. I'm going to put in my radical sign. Now I'm realizing that the exponent is 1/5. So remember the 1 is the exponent on 43. You can choose to write that or not because it's just to the first. But the important part here is to include that index of 5. So it's actually the 5th root of 43. Okay, let's look at another one. So in example B, we have 8 to the negative 3/4. So our base number is 8. Let me start with that. And I am going to use the top number of that fraction, the negative 3. That is the exponent on 8. And remember, the radical sign has to have an index of 4 because of the denominator. Okay. And if we look at example C, we have x raised to the 5 halves. So I'm going to start that out with my base of x. And remember, the 5 is the exponent on x. So I've got x to the 5th. And that is all under a radical with an index of 2, so square root. Now that looks pretty good, but I'm noticing with a square root, I can reduce or pull out some pairs on x to the 5th. So I'm actually able to simplify or rewrite my answer a little bit here. So x to the 5th, I am able to make 2 groups. So I'm going to have an x squared, and then there's going to be an x left over, so square root x. So I'm just reducing my radical here for a final answer. Okay, if you're starting to get the hang of this converting piece, that's good. We have one final section here that they're going to challenge us a bit. Okay, so they want us to find the exact simplified value for each of these expressions. Okay, and it looks like they're starting us off with a base number and an exponent. So I am going to use some of my tricks here to convert into radical form. We've been reducing radicals for a little bit now, and I feel really comfortable with my radical work. So I'm going to start with a base of 8, and remember the 2, the top part of that fraction, means that I actually have 8 squared, and then I'm going to take the radical. Remember, the denominator, the 3, is my index. Okay, so I'm taking a cube root here of 8 squared, or I know 8 squared is 64. Now they want me to find an exact simplified value. So if I can take the cube root of 64, I want to do that. So I can break down 64. It does say without a calculator, so if you're not sure about the cube root of 64, I would go ahead and break that down here. 64, I know, is made up of 8 times 8, and I can break 8 down into 2 times 4, and 4 is 2 times 2. And I'll keep going with the next 8, 2 times 4, and 2 times 2. So for the cube root, I'm going to look for those groups of 3, right? So we are grouping these numbers up, and I actually have 2 groups here of 2. So those are going to team up and pop out of the radical as a 2 times 2, or, again, to represent our final answer, 2 times 2, I would say 4 for a final answer. So that would be a way to evaluate the expression without using a calculator. Sure, I could type in 8 to the 2/3 and get the answer of 4, but if they ask me to not use a calculator, converting to the radicals is the way to go. So let's try that one more time here with example B. So I have a negative 27, and that's raised to the 2/3. So remember, the 2 is our exponent, and the denominator, the 3, means it's an index of 3. It's a cubed root here. Now this is a little sneaky because they asked us to do this without a calculator. And I'm looking at negative 27 squared, and I'm thinking, oh, I don't know that off the top of my head, so I'm going to have to do some multiplication here. Or, I'm going to let you in on a little pro tip here. This exponent, the squared part, there is actually a slightly modified or different way to write that exponent. Okay, so you would keep the cube root. We would still have negative 27, but you can move that exponent. We can move it outside or have the entire radical, so that entire cube root of negative 27 squared. That might be an easier way to look at it, because now I know the cube root of negative 27. So this part inside the parentheses, I know that the cube root of negative 27 is negative 3. And now I need to just square negative 3. So that seems much more doable, especially working without a calculator. If I square negative 3, I'm going to get a final answer of 9. So look for a little tip or trick. If the numbers don't seem very manageable, you can move that exponent to the outside and work with just the radical piece first. Now this would be a good spot to pause the video if you feel like you're getting the hang of it and you want to try the final example, 25 to the negative 3/2 on your own. If you're still a little confused, I know that these last few examples were a bit challenging, so I'll kind of talk through this one. Just like the previous 2 examples, I'm going to start with 25, and I'm going to use the negative 3 as my exponent and the 2 as the index. So it's a square root. And just like that previous example, I think this is kind of difficult to do without a calculator when I'm looking at that exponent of negative 3. So I'm going to choose to rewrite, remember that square root of 25, but I'm going to move the exponent of negative 3 to the outside. So that way I can address just the part inside the radical, because I know the square root of 25 is just 5. And now I can bring down the exponent of negative 3. So 5 to the negative third, and if you remember from your exponent study in algebra last year, for a negative exponent, you're going to actually take that base number of 5, we're going to move it to the denominator, and when you move that base of 5 to the denominator with the exponent, it becomes a positive exponent, or positive 3. So 1 over 5 to the third, or if you want to get really technical, 5 to the third is 125. So your final answer would be 1 over 125. Thanks for watching.